How we doing? Ryan B. Hebert here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Moon Series in VGC 19 with my friend, Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl, tell us, what are we going to expect in Moon Series? Well, one second. Oh, Xerneas, you say? Well, that is completely correct. Xerneas is going to make a comeback, but it's going to make a comeback in a different way. If you look at the calculations for Xerneas, if you max it out modest at 252 and use Twinkle Tackle, you might find that against another Xerneas with little to no bulk, Twinkle Tackle Moonblast will KO another Xerneas by itself. That is without Geomancy. So we're looking at something big, folks. So Xerneas with a Z Crystal is going to be quite interesting because at the time when Xerneas was super big in 2016, we didn't have Z Crystals. Z Crystals weren't a thing yet, and so it's completely new for us to have Z Crystals with Xerneas, as it's completely new for us to have Z Crystals with all of the other restricted Pokemon. Now, if you're not familiar with the Moon Series itself, basically it's the same as Sun Series, except we are allowed to have Z Crystals, which were introduced in the 2017 VGC season with the new Sun and Moon video game. So, Z Crystal moves are very, very powerful moves with base powers that are taken off of an original move and then increased to be a special Z move. So, Twinkle Tackle is the Fairy Z move. It does a lot of damage. And basically, it's a Fairy type move that's really, really powerful. And so Xerneas, being a Fairy type, and having its Fairy Aura, in combination with a Fairy type Z move, like Twinkle Tackle, is going to do a lot of damage. Very similar to this, we're also going to see Kyogre with a possible Waterium Z on its very, very powerful Water Spout with 150 base power when it is at 100% HP. That is something to keep in mind, is that Water Spout is based off of the HP, so if you have been knocked down to 75%, you're only doing about 75% power difference than you were at 100%, if that makes sense. So, where are we going to see Z Crystals? Well, let me show you. Oh! Whoa! Look at those Pokemon! Hey! I recognize some of these guys and girls. Okay, Poliwhirl, let's tell them about it, okay? Okay, so first of all, looks like we have Groudon here. Groudon gonna be rocking that Ground EMZ move, even a Rock EMZ move, or a Fire Z move, but most likely you're going to be seeing that Ground EMZ move from Groudon's very powerful Precipice Blades, with a very high base power and an accuracy that's not so good. Once you use it with a Z move, it's going to raise that base power and it's going to be accurate. So why not use it? Not to mention, it's also going to be bringing in the sun as well. Who doesn't like a nice tan? After that, we're going to see the one and only Kyogre, the flying whale, so to speak. And I know it doesn't fly, but come on. We had to put that up there. Now, Kyogre, as I said before, is going to be using that Waterium Z Crystal. Now, there is a chance you could see an Electrium Z Crystal with Thunder, but the chances of it are pretty low unless the meta somehow evolves into something that revolves around Kyogres trying to kill each other with electric Z moves. Not likely, but it could happen. After that, we have the one and only Kommo-o. And I know what you're saying. Why is Kalmu on my screen? Well, I can tell you. It was a dominant force in 2018 with its wonderful Z move, Clanging Scales. And so you have to wonder, is it going to come back? Most likely, no. The power of Fairy-type Pokemon, especially Xerneas, in this current metagame, and the amount that people are statting for special defensive bulk, just makes it so that Z moves like Clanging Scales from Kommo-o probably aren't going to be that effective, but I did want to mention Kommo-o because it was a really good Z move user back in the previous format. After that, we have the one and only Palkia. a favorite of Brian Yum, who has done very well at regionals in the past couple of years. And he loves Palkia. His obsession with Palkia it's there, and it honestly deserves some credit. The Water Dragon type has access to the Watarium Z, can use the Draconian Z, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But most likely, you're going to see the Watarium Z out of this Palkia. It's going to get that stab, and if you pair it with Kyogre or a support Pokemon like Ludicolo to bring in rain, or even a Pelipper, or even a Politoed, anything that really gets you weather control, it's going to be a very powerful Water Z move. Now, after Palkia, we have the one and only, the king above kings until Incineroar came along with Intimidate, Landorus T. Landorus T is going to have access to quite a few different Z moves. Its move pool is very large and very vast, so it has access to things like Superpower, Knockoff, Earthquake, Rock Slide, U-turn. So that means that we're possibly going to be seeing Z moves of some sort that could be a Darkium Z. Why would we run Darkium Z? Well, maybe Lunala's a problem. Lunala's not on your screen right now, but it is going to be a popular Z move Pokemon, mainly because it can rock a Psychonium Z and a Ghostium Z, or even Darkium Z maybe? Depends on the move you're using. But basically, Lunala is also going to be a really great Pokemon, but why wouldn't you run Dark Z on Lando to try to get that knockoff Dark Z action? Oh yeah, okay. Moving on, that's right, Poliwhirl, moving on. We have Solgaleo. Why do I have Solgaleo down? Well, Moongeist Beam cannot KO the Solgaleo unless you have a special item on it, or if you're using the Ghostium Z move. But besides that, looking at some interesting calculations with Solgaleo, you find that its Electric Z move with Wild Charge could be enough to put a non-defensive Kyogre into the range of fainting, which is pretty good. I definitely give it some credit. It can also learn Wide Guard, so let's say your opponent does have a Groudon or Kyogre and decides to use Precipice Blades or Water Spout instead of a Z move, you have Wide Guard on your Solgaleo to be able to counter that. Piece of cake. After that, we have the one and only Ludicolo, the Macho Man himself. Ludicolo is so good. Grass Water. Yeah, why did I just second guess myself? Grass Water type, so he'll have access to Grassium Z, Watarium Z, and Icium Z as well for Ice Beam, but basically a powerful Hydro Pump from this Ludicolo in Rain provided by Kyogre, combining it with the Watarium Z is incredible. So now, really thinking about this, you're getting the combination of an Origin Pulse or Water Spout from Kyogre, and then a powerful Water Z move from Ludicolo. Ludicolo was a very, very popular Z move user in 2017 and 2018 as well. And so it's, it makes a lot of sense why it would come back in a format using Z moves again, where there are things that are weak to watering and grass. So it just makes you wonder, will Ludicolo be on almost every team? We'll have to find out. After that, this is one Pokemon not to sleep on, and it's going to be more popular than Ludicolo. Kartana. Kartana has access to a lot of moves. Sacred Sword, Smart Strike, Leaf Blade, Tailwind. You're most likely going to see the Z Tailwind on Kartana. Z Tailwind, it's going to basically make it so that they start striking with critical hits after they use the Z Tailwind. So they'll use Tailwind and then they will get a focus, basically. A little status will appear on that Pokemon. And basically what happens is that the Pokemon starts hitting you with critical hits. It's very devastating, does a lot of damage, and as soon as the Kartana is able to get one hit and get it to +1, the game is practically over. It's at 177 max speed most of the time, so there's not a lot that outspeeds it, and if you can't deal with it, then you might be in a bad situation. My guess, if you have a Tapu Fini or something with Icy Wind, try to spam it in front of this Kartana as much as you can, but basically, good luck. After that, we have Incineroar. Incineroar is a very great support Pokemon. Is it going to have a Z move? I'm not so sure, but I wanted to put it on this list because it definitely deserves to be here. With access to Fire EMZ, Dark EMZ, Fightinium Z, Bug Z, like, the move pool on Incineroar, just like Landorus, is huge. So the access to different Z moves is there. And last but not least on this list here is Mewtwo. Why Mewtwo? Well, theoretically, if you stick Mewtwo next to a Tapu Lele, giving it a Psychic Terrain boost, giving it its stab, so let's say you use Psy Strike, 100 base power, and you give it a Psychinium Z Crystal, you now have a Psy Strike boosted with stab, Psychic Terrain boosted with stab, Psychonium Z Crystal boosted with stab from Psychic Terrain. A lot of stuff stacked on one and the other, and it's basically just a really powerful hit going into any Pokemon except Dark types, which is the one downside to using Mewtwo. But not to mention, Mewtwo does have access to Aura Sphere, so it could use the Fightinium Z and use Aura Sphere, but it wouldn't be that powerful as the Psychic Z Crystal. So these are just a few of the Z Crystal users you might experience. Whoa! We're back. Okay, cool. But basically, those are a few of the Pokemon you might expect with Z Crystals or to be supported by other Pokemon with Z Crystals as well. Now, there's one thing I do want to say that doesn't have to do with the Z Crystals themselves, but it has to do with redirection. So Pokemon such as Amoonguss, Clefairy, and Smeargle are going to be very, very valuable Pokemon in this format. That is a prediction for myself. Smeargle is going to be absolutely amazing, mainly due to the fact that if Lunala is as big as I think it might be, follow me and taking all those Ghost EMZ moves into Smeargle. I mean, Ghost doesn't affect normal type, folks, so it's going to be really great. Not to mention Amoonguss, I think is going to be a beast as well. Give that thing some bulk, and it's going to take some Z moves really nicely. In Clefairy, its Friend Guard is going to be helpful, but not against Pokemon like Zekrom, Lunala, Solgaleo. Pokemon with moves or abilities that ignore opposing Pokemon's abilities. While Friend Guard on Clefairy is really great, it's not going to help against those Pokemon. I've only mentioned a few Pokemon so far that could be really good for Z moves, and obviously this metagame is going to evolve and change with our first big regional in Dallas, Texas in January. I'm super excited. I'm trying to make some meta calls myself. If you have any comments, questions, ideas, anything like that, leave it down in the comments below. If you have an idea or something like that, post it down below. Share it with everybody. I believe that this community is one that should be talking constantly, making strides towards a better tomorrow and new opportunities. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. How we doing? See you next time.